Good morning, PS and your team. My name is Priska M. Shimalungwe, and I'm from the Office of the Clerk. Thank you.
Media? We don't have. PS, I'm Jacqueline Sabao, Member of Parliament for Jigankata constituency. I'm the Vice Chairperson of the Public Accounts Committee. PS, you can introduce yourself and your team.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Henry Mukungule, Permanent Secretary from Chinga Province. I now call upon my members of the team to introduce themselves. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair and Honorable Members of Parliament. I'm Kamenda Mata, Assistant Director Planning, Mchinga Province. Thank you.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, members of the committee. I'm Kapaso Benson, Principal Accountant from Mchinga Province. Thank you.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, members of Parliament. My name is Emmanuel Mwemba, Principal Internal Auditor from Mchinga Province.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, members of this important committee. My name is Jonas Chandawari, Senior Accountant.
My name is Musongo Mwewa, Provincial Child Development Coordinator.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, everyone. I'm David Suchimi, the Provincial Water Development Officer from Mchinga Province.
Good morning, Chairperson and the Honorable Members of Parliament. My name is Duncan Chipungu, Provincial Lands Officer.
Good morning, Chair, and good morning, Honorable Members of Parliament. My name is Danford Manjele, Provincial Community Development Officer from Mchinga Province.
Thank you so much, PS and your team. Before you do a submission, PS, I confer you with a unit. You are protected under Cap 12 of the laws of Zambia, which grants members of Parliament immunity against prosecution for what they say while in the House. This means that the information you give to this committee cannot be used against you outside Parliament or indeed in any court of law for as long as it is factual. But if you choose to tell us lies, the same law will work against you in the court of law. However, I know that you will not choose to do that. PS, do your submission. So what you do, you just read the headline of the query and then your response.
Thank you, Chair. The first query that we are attending to is on failure to implement funded activities as Mchinga Province exposition. Management response. Management has
order, yes, you start with the budget, funding and expenditure.
Okay. Or budget, funding and expenditure. Management response. Management wishes to acknowledge the auditor's findings that Provincial Administration Head number 88 had received 80,845,459 kwacha and spent 79,793,229 kwacha, leaving a balance of 1,052,230 kwacha as of 31 December 2023. I submit, Chair.
You continue.
An examination of accounting and other records maintained at Provincial Administration Headquarters and 6 selected district offices for the period under review revealed that A, failure to implement funded activities in Mchinga Province exposition, and 1, During the period under review, the provincial administration budgeted for an amount of 2,700,360 kwacha for holding an exposition, and the whole amount was funded by the Treasury. However, a scrutiny of expenditure records revealed that amounts totaling 900,476 kwacha were spent on the preparation of the 2023 Mchinga exposition, which did not take place, thereby rendering the expenditure wasteful.
PS, I said you just read the question, like this one needed to read failure to implement funded activity, then you go to the management response.
But I continue with everything.
Yes.
Okay.
So what you do when you go to the next, you just read the query, then you go to your response.
Okay,
yes.
Thank you. Management response. Management has noted the auditor's findings. However, it is worth noting that the activities were done in line with the Public Finance Management Act number 1 of 2018. Further, note that the Expo program was not cancelled but postponed to a later date by the provincial minister, who is the vision carrier of the province, and not by provincial administration management. It is also worth noting that activities to attract investment in the province have continued. So far, from the activities made, we have seen investment projects being implemented by stakeholders who were visited, such as 1. Construction of a 3-star hotel in Chinsali district by the Workers' Compensation Fund Control Board. 2. Construction of Indo-Zambia Bank in Chinsali district. 3. 50 housing projects earmarked for construction in Kanchivya district by Ehad Company. 4. Edible oil processing plant in Nakonde district established by Manyanya group of companies. 5. Construction and opening up of Mount Meru filling station in Chinsali district. 6. Construction of the provincial museum, which is still in progress. 7. Construction of an ablution block at the cultural village. 8. Patching up of Lavushimanda Tumpika Chinsali Road. 9. Tanks and materials for the tank stand have also been bought, awaiting installation at the Expo Arena. 10. Water has also been drawn to the Expo Arena or site. 11. Electricity has also been drawn to the Expo site. It is from this background that the expenditure was not wasteful. Also find attached the correspondence with the Cabinet Office regarding the matter. See Appendix 1. B. Audit performance information. Management response. Land Department. The observation of the auditor is well noted by management. The Department of Lands did not achieve the target of processing 600 land applications during the year 2023 due to the following reasons. 1. The recommendations processed depended on the number of recommendations of successful applicants received from the recommending offices, mainly the local authorities and land resettlement. Therefore, in order to address the above challenge, the department has continued to engage local authorities and other stakeholders on a regular basis with regard to submission of recommendations to all councils on submission of invitation to treaty. Further, the department also undertakes sensitization activities to raise public awareness with regard to land alienation matters and the newly introduced online platform. See Appendix 2. Number 2, migration from Zilmis to Xylus by the Ministry of Lands in May 2023. An online platform brought about a complete new way of processing documents and transacting with clients. For instance, the system employed the use of email addresses and ZAM portal accounts, among other features, to process recommendations. In the new system, an invoice was issued along with an invitation to treaty, which were electronically sent to the client's email. Therefore, following the migration, the department focused on comprehending the new system and raising public awareness. 3, there was also a possibility that clients opted to submit their recommendations directly to Lusaka Ondora Regional Office, thus affecting the number of applications submitted through the province. For instance, review of the new Xylus system has shown that about 17 recommendations were not processed through the Chinsali station. Therefore, the department has endeavored to encourage the recommending officers in circumstances where they have bulk recommendations to submit them to the province. This approach may discourage situations where the individual clients withhold their file and decide to submit whenever they are ready, which in turn affect the number of applications processed by the department. See Appendix 2. In Survey Department, Management Response, management wishes to state that out of 500 applicants, I skipped that, sorry Chair. The auditor's observation is noted. We wish to state that surveying of properties is dependent on the client's demand. If the local authorities do not apply for surveying of plots, the department is left with no option but to await demand from other clients within the province. This greatly contributed to the failure to meet the required target for the financial year 2023. The second one is resettlement. Management response. Management wishes to state that out of the 500 applicants in the youth category that were eligible for allocation, only 387 youths had been settled as of December 2023. The Land Resettlement Program's strategic objective is to resettle targeted citizens on a voluntary and involuntary basis, thereby providing them with an alternative livelihood whilst uplifting the living standards of the surrounding communities. Targeted citizens include the youths, women, retired, retrenched, persons with disabilities, civil servants, those above 45 years, those transitioning to retirement, former refugees, etc. Secondly, the targeted citizens can resettle voluntarily when they are ready to do so within the specified time. The reason for the failure to meet the target by 113 was due to the decline in the number of successful applicants to take up the land at the time of being allocated the plots, despite passing the interviews. Other land occupants managed to occupy plots allocated to them, but later decided to leave due to many factors such as lack of basic services as well as failure to develop the land. 3. Community development. Management response. The auditor's observation is noted. It is regrettable that Community Development Department had not met its target of 300 with a deficit of 137 in the period under review. This was mainly due to village banking not being implemented in Ishuanganu district and Nakonde district. These district village banking groups were affected by the COVID-19 pandemic in 2019, hence the project was not implemented. 4. Child development management response. Management has noted the Auditor General's observation. It is regrettable that Child Development Department did not manage to meet their target in the year under review. This was due to the challenges in identifying street kids in the province. Some identified kids refused to be classified as street kids, hence making it difficult for the department to reintegrate them with their families. C. Failure to collect revenue. Management response. On the balance of 593,350 kwacha outstanding from the unpaid for invitations to treaty during the period under review, collection of revenue was affected by the migration from the old system Zilmis to a digital platform Xylus in May in the following ways. 1. Migration from Zilmis to Xylus by the Ministry of Lands in May 2023, an online platform introduced a new way of transacting with clients. Immediately following the migration, the province stopped using both continuous and accounts from 40 receipts. This affected the efficiency and amount of revenue collected, as clients needed to be sensitized about the digital platform. 2. The new system Xylus did not allow partial payment of invitations to treaty, ground rent and other forms of revenue. Therefore, during the period under review, the system could not accommodate clients who wanted to make part payment for the invitation to treaty. Number 3, notwithstanding the above, the department made efforts to remind the clients through radio adverts and the public announcements system on the outstanding payments. The department will continue to reach out to the clients on the outstanding amounts and the digital system. Furthermore, following the authorization by the Treasury to extend the use of general receipt books, account form 40, to 30th June 2024, to receive revenue deposited to non-GSB accounts will accommodate receipting of balances for invitation to treaties issued before the migration. See Appendix 2. General deposit accounts. Yeah. So the query is graduates was not further, the list of beneficiary graduates was not availed for audit, thereby rendering the payment of allowances questionable. Management response. Management wishes to state that 200,000 kwacha received from the Ministry of Community Development and Social Services for Provincial Child Development Department was not only meant for integrating street kids with their families and for settling of graduates from Zambia National Service, ZNS Skills Training Program, but also for orienting of duty bearers and stakeholders on the provision and requirements of the Children's Code Acts number 12 of 2022, enhancing child safeguarding and protection by facilitating institutional-based safeguarding and protection guidelines and 10% on administrative costs. As for the 92,340 kwacha, which was received to facilitate the procurement of startup kits for graduates from Zambia National Service, with financial support, management wishes to state that the startup kits were not procured in 2023 due to the procurement process, as the funds were received towards the end of the year. However, the startup kits for the graduates were procured and distributed to intended beneficiaries in 2024. Further, we wish to state that the funds were also meant for monitoring and implementation of the same program. See Appendix 3. The other query is failure to drill boreholes. Management response. The Auditor General's observation is noted by management. We wish to state that the boreholes have since been drilled and are ready for verification. Management wishes to state that the delay to drill the boreholes was mainly due to breakdowns of drilling equipments. Drilling reports have also been enclosed, showing that the sites where the boreholes have been drilled. Chairperson, I now wish to submit the memorandum to all the issues raised. I thank you, Chair.
Thank you, PS. Honorable members, we can ask questions to the submission by the PS. We start with budget, funding and expenditure. Honorable Mai.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. Thank you, PS, for that wonderful submission from the people of Muchinga. Madam Chairperson, budget, funding and expenditure. The PS was, your department was funded 100%, and we have to congratulate the government for that position. 100% funding is not easy, but despite you are funded 100%, PS, you failed to utilize 1,052,230, and you have not attempted to tell this committee why you failed to utilize the 1,052,000 when you needed this money the most. So, Madam Chairperson, I want the PS to help this committee understand why they failed to use the 1 million despite being funded 100%. I submit, Madam Chairperson.
Okay. Any other question? PS, you can respond to that question.
Thank you, Chair. Let me just attempt, then I'll call upon my colleagues to assist me in responding to that query. Sure, Honorable MP, we really needed this money very much, and we are grateful to government that they managed to fund us 100%. However, we had budgeted programs that needed to be undertaken, such as the construction of the museum, and the money for the construction, but the payment was awaiting the releasing of certificates. because as you may know, Chair, constructions await certificates before payment is made. So by that time, when the audit was being undertaken, we had not received the certificates to enable us to pay out the money. So this is why the 1 million remained outstanding. I thank you, Chair. Maybe allow me to invite.
Yes, you've mentioned of a certificate of what?
Certificates of payment when you are doing the construction. When the building reaches to a certain level that needs to be inspected, then a certificate is released.
Certificate.
Yes,
Okay.
Sure. So allow me, Chair, maybe to invite my colleagues to consolidate what I've just said.
What's your position?
Just to add on what PS has said.
What's your position, sir?
I'm Kamenda Mata, Assistant Director Planning.
Okay.
Thank you. Just to complement what the Permanent Secretary has mentioned, indeed, the contractor was actually on site and he was on schedule in terms of progress, but these funds came towards the end of the year, around November, somewhere there. So as PS has mentioned, it was very difficult to pay him because there were no works that were certified worth paying. So the other reason the funds actually came towards the end of the year, but the contractor actually was making progress very well. Thank you.
Honorable Mwira.
Thank you, Chair. So what happened? Did you request for retention of this money, or the money was clawed back to the treasury? What happened?
Honorable Daka.
Just to add on Honorable Mwira's question, if you requested for retention of funds, do you have evidence or proof that you can provide to this committee as a chairperson?
PS, you can respond to 2 questions.
Thank you, Chair. Allow me to invite the Principal Accountant to help me answer that query, Chair.
Principal Accountant through the PS, can you respond to the 2 questions?
Thank you so much, Chair. We did request for the retentions of the fund. However, the retentions wasn't honored. The money was mopped. We requested together when we were requesting for the third parties, that is these other monies that we have in the third party account, but the request was not honored. Thank you so much.
So I think the question from Honorable Daka was, if you requested, do you have the evidence of the communication that you requested for the returning?
Thank you so much, Chair. Through the PS, we'll be able to avail it to the committee. Not right here, but yes, we did. The evidence is there, Chair. Thank you.
Honorable Mai.
Yeah, Madam Chairperson, the officers are not appearing before this committee for the first time. What I want to understand is, why didn't you respond to this query?
The one with the phone ringing, can you put it on silent? Okay. You can respond to that question, PS.
Thank you, Chair. I may not have an immediate answer to that, but maybe allow me to request my other colleagues, if they have, to help me respond to that.
Director, you can respond to that question.
Thank you, Chairperson. I think we admit, I think it was just an omission, Chairperson. We will do amendments, but otherwise that's the response. We did actually request for the retention of the funds, and we believe that guidance was given by the office of the ST on the funds that were retained and those that were mopped. Thank you so much, Chairperson.
But you knew, according to the query, you knew that to ask for that. Why didn't you include it in your appendices? Because we want factual, don't want stories here telling us that we have it. Where? Because we've had such situations where people say we have this document at the office, meanwhile it's not there. You didn't do the communication. And that, Honorable Daka.
that shows lack of seriousness, Chairperson, with regards to, first of all, audit, and even moreover, even when they come here, they display the same lack of seriousness to this committee. Because you knew, and it's not for the first time you're appearing, you knew that there was an audit query which you needed to respond to. But you just make a submission without any response. Now we ask you questions again, you don't have even the documentation to substantiate what you are claiming. So, Madam Chairperson, I think they are not just a serious team. I submit, Chairperson.
PS, we are in the E-world now. While we are still responding to other questions, direct someone to communicate with the office to send that document. So, honorable members, you can go to the next question. But we need that document before you leave.
Sorry, Chair. The document was even shown to the auditors. Maybe the auditors can even maybe save us, because that was shown to them.
The communication between the province and the treasurer.
Okay, I want to confirm that yes, during the process of the audit, we asked the question as to whether authority was sought to retain the funds, and that document was shown to us. Except, of course, even ourselves, we have not come with it. But of course, we expected them to have come with the document as proof. But we can confirm that we did see the request and even the response that they could not grant them authority to retain the funds. I submit.
Like I said, we are in the E-world. The PS will make some arrangements. We see the documents. Because what we are trying to help government PS is that people should be serious in these offices. Government resources should be accounted for. Yes. So, honorable members, Honorable Lungu had a question?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Chair. According to what I have gotten from the PS, you submitted that the funds came a bit late, and the contractors were not paid due to the delay of IPCs. What necessitated the delay of the IPCs? Because if the IPCs were ready by the time the funds were going to be released, it was going to be easier for the management to pay the contractors. I submit.
PS, can you respond to that question?
Thank you, Chair. Chair had indicated that the constructions are done in stages and that payment is made on the level of construction that is achieved. So at the time that we received the money late in November, the contractor had not made much construction to enable him to be paid, or for him to release a certificate. This is what made the money not to be utilized, because it needed to be certified, and then you would be paid on the certificate of the works that were done. I submit, Chair.
But who does the certification? Isn't it the department, not the contractor? Because the department, maybe the provincial engineer is supposed to inspect the works and then certify. It's not the contractor to certify his work. Unless I don't know construction.
No, Chair, I was saying when the contractor does the construction up to a certain level, for instance, from foundation to slab level, then they would invite the engineer to come and certify the works. Now, based on the certificate that will be released, that's when the accounts department will go ahead to pay, based on the certificate that has been released.
Honorable Daka.
Madam Chairperson, PS, are you trying to say there were no outstanding works at the time of the release of funds? I think you have to make it just very clear, because you can't pay for nothing. So at the point at which the funds were released, did you have any outstanding works? So that's what the committee is trying to find out. I submit, Madam Chairperson.
Yes.
Chair, allow me to call upon my friends to assist me.
Do we have a director engineer or provincial engineer? We don't have. They are officers, they are not your friends.
Thank you, Chair, through the PS. Yes, these works are ongoing. Yes, the outstanding works are there. The contract is still on site. The area on the contractor was on site at the time the funds were released, but when the engineers went there, the works were not in substantive enough for them to be certified, for him to be paid. The contractor is already on site even as we talk right now.
Then the PS should withdraw his area submission, because he said we were waiting for certificates. That was your submission. So the way he explains different.
Maybe let me say the works at the time there were payments that were made to him since he was on site already. Certificates were it's an ongoing thing. They were being issued, but at the time we said this money came towards the end of the year. So at that time he was still doing some works which didn't warrant him to be paid. Thank you.
Progress, honorable members. Failure to implement funded activity from Chinga Province Exposition. Honorable Lumai.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. PS, there's an argument between you and the Office of the Auditor General. 2.7 million was budgeted for this expo in your province. However, 900,476 was spent on preparations, and in your response you are saying it was not a waste of expenditure because this expo was cancelled by the provincial minister and he has got that muscle to cancel. He had that muscle. What the committee wants to understand,
PS, you wait, I will direct you. Let the honorable members finish his question.
Madam Chairperson, I want the minister to read with me management response. It is also worth mentioning that activities to attract investment in the province have continued. So far from activities made, we have seen investment projects. Then here you are saying Public Finance Management Act number 1 of 2018, further note that Expo program was not cancelled but postponed to a later date by the provincial minister. Now, what we want to understand, 900,476 was spent on preparations, then the Expo is postponed. So what we want you to tell this committee, according to your budget for this Expo, how much was for preparations? That's question number 1. Question number 2, Madam Chairperson, was this money spent on preparations after the minister postponed or before?
PS, you can respond to 2 questions.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Thank you, Honorable MP, for that concern that you've raised. Indeed, the clarification that I wanted to make even when I raised up the hand was that it was not cancelled, but it was postponed. And that we had spent monies before the minister postponed the Expo. We started making expenditures. One was in the encounters that we undertook to see and meet well-wishers to help us to organize this investment expo. And the monies were spent on those visits that we made. We made a number of visits, visiting companies, visiting well-wishers, to actually who for support, to who for companies to come and participate in the exposition. And then we had made expenditures also to clear the arena for the Expo. We also made expenditures on purchasing of the tank and the stand, and then also we made expenditures on drawing water and electricity to the arena. So these expenditures were made even before the minister deferred the Expo. Actually, we had remained with the 3 weeks before having the Expo when the minister chose to postpone the Expo. So the expenditures were already done before the minister postponed the Expo. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Chair. Having heard that submission, first of all, I want to state that the management response focuses on things that were not part of the queried budget and the expenditure, because you are talking about construction 5-star hotel and all these things are not relevant to the response that is required. Now, also in your response, Permanent Secretary, you are putting so much weight and power on the provincial minister as a vision carrier. Like he just woke up and said we are postponing. I'm sure that the minister operates with your office. So my first question based on that is, what reasons led to the postponement? That is question number one. What reasons led to the postponement? Secondly, in agreeing with the audit finding that this is wasteful expenditure, unless proven otherwise by your further explanation, you already did those works to prepare the venue. Now, whenever you are going to, or whenever the vision carrier, the minister is going to say, let's have it, are you not going to redo the same things, visiting those same companies, clearing, because I'm sure now the venue is even overgrown by grass, to still do the same that you have spent the 900 on whenever you're going to think of hosting this Expo, since it was just postponed and not cancelled? Are you not going to repeat the same expenditures that you already incurred when it was about to take place? I submit, Chair.
And my follow-up question also, PS, is when is the next date for the event and how much do you have?
Thank you, Chair. In the first place, I wish to state that when the announcement to postpone the Expo was made, we did not sit with the minister. In fact, Honorable Chair, what I and my group started hearing were rumors from the streets that the Expo will not take place. And following that, Chair, I made a press statement to dispel the rumors and indicated in that press statement that the Expo is on course, preparations for the Expo were on course, and that the Expo is going to take place. I made that press statement like today, and then the following day, without us sitting, the minister released a radio statement indicating that the Expo has been cancelled. So we were taken unawares, and following that release of a statement to postpone the Expo, the team that was preparing for the Expo with me went to see the minister, and we went to explain to him the implications of postponing the Expo. One that we mentioned that we cannot postpone beyond December, because it means even in 2024 the Expo is not going to be held, because we do not have any budget line for the Expo in the 2024 year. And then we also indicated that this was going to attract audit queries, like the ones that we are facing. That we also indicated to the minister. And we indicated to him that we had actually hired even the event manager at that time, and that we had spent already on other things like purchasing of the tank, drawing of water, drawing of electricity. We had spent money on those activities, and that postponing this expo was going to work against us. We indicated to the minister, but he's still stuck to his guns. And following that, Chair, I said, okay, let me write to Secretary to Cabinet to seek guidance following the postponement of the expo. And I did write to Secretary to Cabinet to seek guidance from him, and which guidance I think he gave, as we have attached in the appendix. So this is what happened, Honorable Chair. Maybe my colleagues can add on what I've submitted.
Thank you. Maybe it could yes, be true to say
maybe before you respond, according to the submission by the PS, he started with, it was a rumor on the streets, then the minister cancels. Who was the chairperson of the expo, the organizing committee?
I was.
Okay, you can respond to this.
Thank you. Maybe just to add on like certain things that have been raised. The tangible things that have been mentioned, of course we can say they are not as a result of the funds that we're mentioning. But I think the point Pierce was trying to bring is because of the engagements that was made with these organizations, that's why we're seeing some of these projects coming to the province. Had we not engaged these organizations, we would have not like maybe witness some of these developmental efforts. They are not related, of course, to the 9 million being 900,000 being questioned, but we are saying because of the engagements that was being made, that is why we are trying to see these things. And on the issue of that, are we going to repeat the same thing? The answer is not to extent that we had made, because we've done a lot of groundwork. Even as we talk right now, there are quite a lot of correspondences, a lot of people that are visiting the province to really express interest to invest in the province. So of course that's the fear that maybe we may say they're running up and down. Apart from the meetings, we were participating, for example, in during the trade fairs. We had some exhibitions as in Mchinga Expo.
You're not responding to the question direct. You said when is the next?
Yeah, I'll come to that. Thank you so much. Yes.
Just give us answers.
So going forward to the next date, as PS mentioned, 2024 we didn't have a budget line, but for next year we are planning to have the expo held. But preparations have continued, because for us the expo is not a final event, say 2, 3, 4 day event, but the main thing we can measure the success of the expo based on the investors that will come to the province. And these investors, of course, they are already in the province. 3 months ago, Mtinondo Hydro Power Station came to the province to do some meetings. So we are seeing quite a number of people that are coming to the province as a result of these engagements that we have already started going. That's what we are doing. Thank you.
Further, I think that all the submissions have not convinced the committee that this expenditure was not wasteful, provided the events that you have outlined. My concern is that had it taken place, part of this expenditure, there were some service providers that committed, for example, event manager and all those things. Have you gotten to them to still commit that whenever you are going to have this expo, the same agreements and you commit to provide the services that they were going to provide if it had taken place in 2023? Well, I'm sure some people were hired to do or perform certain things at the expo. Are they still committed without requesting for extra charge that they will come whenever you have it, be it 2025 or 2026? I submit.
PS will respond to the question.
Thank you. Chair, before I even answer the question that Honorable Mula has posed, I would like, there's something that we forgot when he mentioned that these other things that we have outlined perhaps were not necessary. Chair, I want to state that we really expended on visitations that we made to these companies to lobby for them to come and invest in our province. For instance, we visited the Workers' Compensation Fund Control Board in Ndola to lobby for them to come and put up a hotel because we did not have hotel facilities in our province, and particularly in Chinsali, where the Expo is going to be hosted. So we realized that we needed to see investors that can actually help us to invest, and so we went to Ndola to see Workers' Compensation Fund Control Board, and we did spend on that trip to get there. We also went to see Zambia Bank. We came to Lusaka twice to see them on the need for them to put up a bank in Chinsali because we did not have adequate banking facilities in the district. So we saw them twice and they responded that they were going to come. We also went to see these investors, Ehad, who had actually had a program of constructing the houses in Kanchibia. We also went to see Manyanya group of companies who have since established an edible oil plant in Nakonde. So on all these visitations, Honorable Chair, we made expenditures. We spent on fuel and on lodgings. So this is why we stated this, to just support that this is what we spent part of that money on. I submit, Chair, that to answer the Honorable Mwila's questions, yes, there were people that we engaged, like the event manager. But the arrangement with the event manager was that through the work that she was going to do, she was going to raise some money. And the monies that she raised, then she was going to be paid against what she raised. So we did not incur maybe debts. The arrangement is that when we restart this program, she's going to come through and then she's going to continue from where she ended.
Okay, PS. So PS, from your submission, what I've read is that there was no communication between your office and the office of the minister. So now for the future preparation, you have to have that communication so that you move at the same page. Honorable members, let's progress. Audit of performance information. Honorable Daka.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. Controlling officer, you have attributed the failure to process 252 land applications to factors such as not receiving all the land application recommendations from the local authority and migration by the Ministry of Lands in May 2023 from ZILMIS to ZILAS. Now, my questions on behalf of the committee are as follows. What were the difficulties encountered by yourselves in engaging the local authority to submit all the land recommendations? That's number one. Number two, how did ZILAS system become an impediment when in fact it was designed to improve on the land application process? I submit, Madam Chairperson.
Yes, you can respond to the two questions.
Thank you, Chair. Allow me to invite my officers concerned, my officer from lands, to help me answer that question.
Okay. The Director can respond to the question.
Thank you, Chairperson. My name is Duncan Chipungu, Provincial Lands Officer.
Lands Officer, okay.
Thank you. Responding to the first question by Honorable Member of Parliament, what difficulties we encountered with the local authorities? Basically, recommendations is more of a client-driven activity. Equally, the councils rely on what members of the public submit to them, and upon clearing them, that's when they submit those applicants to our offices. So it's more like client-driven by our local authorities. Responding to the second question, yes, I agree with the Honourable Member of Parliament that the coming of ZILAS is to address some of the past challenges we in the terms of
processing time. However, the migration which took place mid-year of 2023, it brought about a complete way of doing business, chairperson, which required also ourselves to comprehend the system and also to be able to help our clients understand the online platform. So those were some of the challenges that we encountered. But with the time, we are hopeful that we'll be able to comprehend the system fully. I submit. Yeah.
Thank you. Honorable Mwira.
Thank you, Chairperson. I wanted to find out about the program of orientation, especially for you, the staff in the lands department. Were you not taken through this system by your parent ministry, which was handling this? Because here, in your responses, you seem to portray a picture like this system was just imposed. There was no training, there was no orientation. Even you were doing a job on training, and then you needed to advise your clients how to go about it. How was the rollout done? Were you not taken through orientation, especially you, the officers dealing with land in the province? I submit.
Yes. To the provincial director, provincial land office.
Thank you, Chairperson. Yes, Honorable Member of Parliament, we were oriented, and that orientation took place in 2022, where all of us were oriented. However, that was done in what we call more like a live test environment. But when the actual migration happened in May, with time that had elapsed from the time we had our orientation, being human, member of Parliament, sir, we now we are dealing with the real thing. So we are trying now to be able to comprehend it now in the real time, now in the news, in the actual system, and that was our major focus, just to comprehend. And we wish to state that so far we have acclimatized to the new system. Of course, from time to time we need to learn one or two issues. It's a new development, Chairperson, and when new things come, especially to do with online platform. In the past we are doing things manual, and now we are online. It brings with it a lot of changes, but so far so good, Chairperson. We are hoping for the best with this online platform. Thank you.
So at what level of so far so good? When you say so far so good, at what level are you now? Especially you who have to guide us, the clients who have to come and you tell us now, here, this is GSB, you go to the ZAM portal, pay this. What is your level of understanding, especially you, the staff? Because this is serious. The ministry has been here defending that now we have the best system to address all these challenges that we have been facing. So there is no return. And one other thing also, this takes away the handling of cash, because it's now onboarded on the GSB, and sometimes that's where the resistance has been. People still wanting to be writing receipts and receiving cash and put in the safe. This is now a thing of the past with the coming of these errors in land administration. So what level of confidence are you? Because there's no turning back, and we can't sit here. This was in May, and it's already more than a year you have been working on this system. You need to assure the committee that all those delays, the inconvenience that has been put on the customers who have wanted to access business with you is no longer being experienced. Where are we now? I submit.
Madam Chairperson, we want to find out the level of competence with regards to numbers, because you failed to process the 252 land applications. So we want to assess your competency in dealing with the software. Now, how far have you gone, of course through the PS, to the provincial land officer? How far have you gone in terms of progress in processing these aforesaid 252 land applications. Because for us to be convinced that you are somewhere now with regards to competence in handling or in dealing with zealous, would want to find out in terms of numbers. Can you put numbers on the table so that we assess whether really indeed you have acclimatized or you are competent enough to work with zealous? I submit, Madam Chairperson.
Provincial Land Officer, through the PS, can you respond to 2 questions?
Thank you, Chairperson. I just want to agree with the Honorable Member of Parliament, Honorable Mwira, to say that this platform is meant for good, that has brought changes, and it is aimed at helping us effectively and efficiently serve the public. And I want to clarify to say that these challenges were mainly experienced at the time of the migration, sometime after May, because it just happened. Of course, we knew that there would be a migration, so that brought about a new way of doing business. In terms of our projection of 600, it was anticipated that we would do by 31st December, we would attain these numbers. However, what we received or what we processed in the course of the year came close to 348. However, in terms of the progress this year, we wish to report that we are at 385 in terms of processing these recommendations. So we are making progress, but I wish to state that still it's client driven in terms of these submissions. So the platform just provides the environment to process these documents, but it's highly dependent on the members of the public or through the councils submitting recommendations to Minister of Lands.
Honorable Dak.
Madam Chairperson, the provincial land officer is not helping us, because from the submission of the permanent secretary on performance, you can see that we are having negative variances. You can see there was the negative 252 on anything with regards to the performance indicators. So we don't understand, is it that up to now, with regards to the processing of this the land application, up to now, are you trying to tell us that up to now you haven't gotten used or acclimatized, or maybe, can I put it in this way, are you not competent enough, or are you not, this software, with regards to what I know about them, is that they are very user-friendly softwares. It's not anything which is like rocket science for you to understand. They are very basic user-friendly software or applications. So I want to find out, why is it that when a service delivery was supposed to be enhanced or to be improved, you yourselves, you are still taking us backwards? There is negative performance here. That's why you are here. There's an audit query because government has invested so much that we improve on performance or on service delivery, and yet you officers, you keep on dragging government backwards. We want to find out, why is it that you are failing to work with this software which is meant to enhance service delivery? I submit, Madam Chairperson.
And my follow-up question through the PS to the provincial land officer: do you have the relevant hardware to use these softwares? Can you respond to the questions?
Thank you, Chairperson. I want just to clarify something. With the online platform, I was able to admit that at the time of the migration, we had that time to comprehend the system and appreciate it. I wish to submit that what we process is anchored on what comes from the local authorities. The platform of Zealous, the new system, the online platform, basically is just the tool that we use to process. As of now, we have no challenges that may impede the processing of documents. In fact, it is even faster to process those documents. But the issue is the submissions that depend on our agents, the councils. They are the ones that give us these numbers. Then in terms of the tools and equipment, yes, Chairperson, we are well equipped as a province in terms of computers. And this is why I was saying that in terms of accessing computers and the platform, we don't have challenges with respect to processing these documents. The challenge has been the submissions from the council, which are anchored on clients themselves who would wish to have their land titled. So that is where the delay or the challenge has been in the past, Chairperson.
Do we have an officer from the local government province? We don't have. Okay.
However, through Chairperson, we've been able to engage the councils, just to engage them on these matters, so that we are able to work together to address some of these challenges. Thank you.
Okay. Progress, honorable members. I have a question on community development. PS, in your submission, you said the last sentence, these district village banking groups were affected by the COVID-19 pandemic in 2019. Hence, the project was not implemented. So my question is, can you explain how the COVID-19 affected an activity which was planned in 2023?
Thank you, Chair. Allow me...
wait, Honorable Daka.
Chair, there's a very important issue on the land administration, on processing of the titles. There's another issue to do with the surveys. Controlling officer, this has been a menace with regards to effective service delivery, with regards to processing of land or title processing. The committee would want to find out what is it that as a province you have put in place with regards to addressing this problem to do with the land surveys, because you would find that there are a lot of clients who would want to have title to have access title deeds, but you yourselves as government, you fail the clients because there are no ready services with regards to surveys. So can you tell this committee, or can you submit to this committee, what is it that you have put in place to address the challenges with regards to land surveys? I submit, Madam Chairperson.
PS, you can respond. Start with the question from Honorable Dak.
Thank you, Chair. Indeed, it is a serious concern from the public that we are not able to do better in terms of assisting them to acquire titles. But we have challenges as the Muchinga province, and allow me, Chair, to ask a competent person or officer in the department to actually help me respond to that query. Thank you.
You can swap seats, or you can use this one.
Thank you, Chair. The problem which we have been, the challenge which have been having, it's the issue of approving. When it comes to work, it's done in time, but approval is done in USAC. So when we send all the documents to be approved, they say we are dealing with the 10 provinces. So we've been asking through the Surveyor General's office to say that they send us, or they give us the authority to be approving. So that was the one. That was the one of the challenges. The second one, we were understaffed. The third one was the transport. It wasn't good. It was an old Land Cruiser, which came in 2013. Then also the council. Most of the clients has been the council. So we've been waiting for the council to
What's your position?
So this year we have.
What is position? Yes. Because even his submission is not right, the dress code is wrong. This is the honorable house. We don't dress like that. The shirt, you're supposed to dress like the PS is dressed. So after your submission, you go outside and dress proper. Yeah. You can't submit. So I think the lands officer, I think he's been like chatting with him. He has some information, can help him.
Thank you, Chairperson. Just to assist my colleague, the surveying of properties equally is driven by clans, and the major clans for surveying are the local authorities. If they open up parcels of land in bulk, they would request the surveyors to do a block survey for the new area, and this has been the approach from what we have observed this year, that one of the councils who have been able to engage the surveyors to do block surveys. So that could have also affected the number of surveys done in the financial year of 2023.
Madam Chairperson, the question from the committee is very simple. It's planned against what they've achieved. It's based on what they received as a department, and their failure to attend to the submissions. That's the question. We're not talking about whether you received or not, but you have failed to respond or to react to the submission from the communities. That's what the audit is all about. So why is it that you are failing to provide the surveying services to the communities? You are underperforming with regards to the demands from the communities. The communities, for instance,
use the mic, Honorable.
For instance, I can give you an example. There were submissions that you failed to address with regard to surveys, and this problem has been coming to this committee. We have even summoned the Surveyor General here. So we want to find out what is it that you have put in place this time around in order to improve service delivery. That's what we're asking. We are not asking the reasons, because the reasons were already submitted. We know you failed. So the issue is that how have you remedied this situation that is at hand? I submit, Madam Chairperson.
Thank you.
Director, Provincial Land Officer.
Thank you, Chairperson. Thank you, Honorable Member of Parliament, for that query. What we have put in place as a province is to engage the council so that whenever they open up these new areas, they engage government surveyors, government survey department instead of private surveyors to do bulk surveys, because that is an ideal way of surveying properties than waiting for an individual clan, which is more clan driven. So our local authorities are very critical stakeholders in land administration, and what we have done is that we've been able to engage them so that whenever they open up new areas, we'll be able also to do the surveys. Secondly, Chairperson, we wish to report that as a Ministry of Lands, we have a new structure which has been approved, the new structure, which entails there will be more staffing in future, and we were promised that Mchinga will be considered after other regions have been considered. Those structures, the new staff structures, are aimed at meeting some of these challenges that we've been facing, because we've been missing some of the critical staff to facilitate or to support our operations. For instance, we don't approve these documents locally. They are centralized. The approvals are done. Though it's online, the process, but the approving officer is domiciled outside the region, which affects also the speed and the time at which we do extend these documents. Hence, the client will hope to engage a private surveyor, because they feel that when you engage a government survey, they delay from the time of the survey to the time of the issuance of the diagram. But with the coming of this new platform, as well as the new structure which has been approved, we expect more staff next year, so that we are able to meet these challenges that we've been experienced in the past. I submit, Chairperson.
Oh, thank you. Honorable PS, you can respond to my question, the one I asked on the community development.
Thank you, Chair. For community development, allow me to invite the officer concerned to actually respond to that.
Community officer.
Thank you, PS. Thank you, Chair. My name is Danford Munjele, Provincial Community Development Officer from Chinga Province. I got you right, Chair. The question was which the program activity was funded in 2023, and we are talking about COVID-19. Chair, allow me to mention that village banking, it's not funded annually. Village banking in Muchinga province was first funded in 2014. And it is this funding, it is this activity that grows from year to year. The department is responsible for monitoring the activities of the beneficiaries who have injected the funding into various business activities. So it is up to the year 2019 that in these two districts, that is Nakonde and Shiwangandu, the program actually came to die because it was affected by COVID-19. I submit, Chair.
Honorable members, Honorable Dak. Switch off the mic.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. I would like to take the PS to the failure to collect revenue. Controlling officer, you indicated that the collection of revenue was affected by the migration from an old system, Zoomis, to a digital platform, Zilas. The committee would want to find out, has the uncollected balance of 593,350,000 due from 219 applicants now been collected? This is what the committee would want to. Have you collected the money now?
Honorable Mukombi.
Chair, as the PS response to Honorable Daka's question, do we have somebody from Child Development? PS, we are informed that there are no street kids in Chinga province. Give us the good news. I walk there, I don't find a street child. Give us that good news so that we can learn from you. I submit, Chair.
Through the PS to the provincial child officer, who can respond to that question. You don't have street kids in Mchinga?
There are street kids in the Mchinga province. Thank you.
The Honorable Mukumbi, make a follow-up question.
Thank you, Chair. I'm reading the response here. The department did not manage to meet their target in the year under review. This was due to challenges in identifying street kids in the province. Some identified street kids refused, refused to be called the street kids. So making it difficult for the, and then the department reintegrated them with their families. So they are all gone to their families, isn't it? Or maybe I'm misunderstanding your submission, PS. Or maybe you are saying we still have a few that are there. But even the few, what have you done about it, if at all they are there? Because you failed to meet your target.
Chair, allow me to call upon the Child Development Officer to assist me to answer that question.
Provincial officer can respond to the question.
Thank you, Chairperson. Of course, there are street children. There are children on the streets of Muchinga province. What we failed was the target, and not that there are no street children. To meet the target is what we failed. Thank you.
But what measures have you put in place to identify them? Because the street kids were there according to your submission, but they refused that they are not street kids. So what measures have you put in place so that we don't have those kids on the street? The kids which will be on the street should be street kids. If they are refused, they are not street kids. They are not supposed to be on the street. So what measures have you put as a department in the province?
Thank you.
Daka?
Just to add, Madam Chairperson, thank you very much. I want to take the controlling officer to failure to drill boreholes. Have the boreholes been drilled now? I submit, Madam Chairperson.
So maybe, Honorable, let's move. Let's finish with the issue of the kids, and then we move to the question that you asked earlier on. So, Provincial Child Officer, can you respond to the questions to deal with kids?
Thank you, Chairperson. The street kids program is ongoing, of course. So as a department, we have lined up activities. One of them is sensitization.
and also implementing the Children's Code Act. It has measures that would curtail the issue of street children in the province. Thank you.
And then PS, you can respond to the question on failure to collect revenue, which was asked by Honorable Daka. Switch off the mic. You have something?
No, I just wanted to refer the same to him. Perhaps that's why he switched on. But I wanted to get permission from the chair to allow me to ask him to help me respond to that.
The Provincial Land Officer.
Thank you, Chairperson, and thank you, Honorable Member of Parliament, for that query, that question. In terms of the balance, whether we have collected all the balance, as of today, what has been collected, or rather what has been paid up by clients, amounts to 120 and 45.9, bringing a balance of 473.04.05. So I wish to state that we've made efforts to raise awareness on the radio so that our people respond to this. As you are aware, Chairperson, we just invite these people to make payments through invitation to treaties, invoices, which they must honor within a particular period of time. And so far, this is what has been received, about 120, but we continue to engage our public so that they are able to get this money. And we hope that come next year we'll be able to collect part of this money. I submit.
The Honorable Daka, I can go back to the question you wanted to ask the PS on water.
Yeah, maybe before.
Honorable Lungu.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, PS on the page 6 under failure to collect revenue, management response. Number 1, you attributed to the failure of migrating from Zomis to Zilas, and this really affected the organization to collect the needed revenue amounting to 593,535. My follow-up question is, what have you done so that this challenge will come to an end, so that the platform can start operating normally? I submit.
Now, PS to the Provincial Land Officer can respond to that question.
Thank you, Chairperson. There's no difficulty with the platform in terms of revenue collection. What we highlighted in our submission was that at the time of migrating, the system at that point brought about the complete new way of doing business in terms of transacting with our clients. As you are aware, we had our old invoices, our old system, how we were able to collect revenue. We are using these old methods of collecting revenue. But with the new platform, we don't issue manual receipts anymore. They are automated. So what we have done as a province to be able to raise this balance, we've continued to raise awareness through radio stations, and also we've continued to engage these clients, and also we are able to redo what we did in the old system. Whenever the clients want to make a payment in the new system, that's how we are able to address what we could have faced at that time at the point of migration. So we hope that next year we'll be able to get this revenue from our members of the public through further engagements through public address systems and also radio stations. I submit, Chairperson.
Honorable Daka.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. I want to take the PS to failure to drill boreholes. I don't want to waste much time on it. Just straightforward, I want to find out whether these boreholes have now been drilled. I submit, Madam Chairperson.
PS.
Sorry, Madam Chair, the boreholes have since been drilled. I submit.
Do you have the evidence?
Yes, Chair, the evidence should be there, but allow me maybe to ask the man in charge of water development in the province to actually give more information about that. Mr. Stimu.
Officer for Water. Honorable Mkumbi.
Thank you, Chair. As you answer that question, drilling is one thing and provision of water is another thing. So they could be drilled, but are they serviceable? Are our people getting the benefit from the drilled boreholes? Just an additional question to what has been asked.
Good morning, Chair.
Yeah.
I'm David Chimwe. I'm the Provincial Water Development Officer from Chinga Province. I want to say that all the 10 boreholes have been drilled. We drilled 2 in September, 2 in October, and then the 6th in November. Then all the boreholes are accessible to the people because we normally drill boreholes in the community schools and also rural health centers. Thank you.
May I know the reason why you are drilling 2 in a month, 2 boreholes in a month? Remember, we are also drilling a lot of boreholes under CDF. Where we are coming from, a good rig is able to do 2 in a day at 60 meters. You have 1 in the morning, they demobilize, go to another site. If it's within the vicinity of 10 kilometers or so, they will drill another one. In a day, where we are coming from, they are doing 2 boreholes. You are doing 2 in a month. Was it a challenge to do with funds? Because this 10 boreholes should be done in 5 days and you are done. And our people have a service. Why am I emphasizing this? It's about service delivered to the people. 2. So meaning, if you are doing 2 per month, it will take you how many months to do 10? Chair, submit.
Provincial Coordinator.
Thank you very much for that question, Honorable. We are drilling 2 boreholes, looking at their locations. Because these boreholes, you find that maybe some of them they are in Kanchivia, the other one is in Pika, then the other 2 boreholes were in Chinsadi, and then they are far away. Then these other 6 are the ones which we drilled in Mafinga. Yes. And then you questioned about the Facebook. Are the boreholes running? Yes, they are providing the water to the community. I submit.
Where's the evidence?
It's on Appendix 4.
Appendix 4.
Yes.
Thank you, Chair. We can see the borehole data here, but don't you have any photographic evidence so that the committee can appreciate that indeed actually these boreholes were drilled, because this is just borehole data. Let's submit, Madam.
PS.
Chair, we do not have that data here, but later perhaps that can be provided.
PS, like the issue of drilling boreholes, 2 boreholes per month, and he said Mpika, Kachvi and Chinsali. It's not justifiable that those 3 districts you can drill 2 boreholes per month, even if you talk of distances. No, it's not justifiable.
Chair, I think in our submission,
unless if there's another challenge,
yeah,
not the issues of distance in 1 month, no.
The submission that we made, in our submission, we indicated that the challenge that we had was that of breakdowns on the equipment for drilling. That made us perhaps to have that spacing in terms of drilling, where they are working, the equipment breaks down, then you have challenges in repairing these. When the equipment is repaired, then you go to another area to drill. But if you look at Mafinga, where we drilled the 6 bores, this is in the same locality, and we didn't have a big challenge of breakdowns, and so we were able to drill the 6 bores in one area, one district. So the challenge indeed has been that of breakdowns on the equipment. I submit, Chair.
Thank you, PS. Members, I think we are done. PS, this submission you've done, it was not supposed to come to PAC if you were involved with the auditors. As a controlling officer for the province, you need to endeavor that you don't come back to PAC by working with the auditors and your officers in the province. These are small questions that you don't need to waste time to come here. You are wasting government resources to come to Lusaka to respond to such questions that you can handle at provincial level. So, Mr. PS, thank you so much for coming, but I need that document. You send it to the clerk. Yeah, you go back to the province and work for Zambia. I left your minutes. You are free to go.
Thank you so much, Chair, for the interventions, and I think we have gotten your guidance. I think we will liaise with the auditors so that we are able to resolve those issues just there at the province. I thank you, Chair.
Thank you. You're welcome.